engagement there.
You're listening to Head South Radio with your host, Cat Meyer, a podcast dedicated to prioritizing pleasure and removing the stigma and shame around sex. We're here to be curious and have an open conversation about sexual health and relational wellness. This podcast is intended for educational and entertainment purposes. The information discussed is not a substitute for professional medical advice.
June is Pride Month, a time of celebration, joy, and remembrance of the LGBTQ+ community. It is a time when people come together to celebrate their identities, their love, and their existence. But this joyous celebration is not without a painful history. The origins of Pride Month can be traced back to the Stonewall riots in 1969 in New York City. At the time, the LGBTQ+ community faced widespread discrimination, harassment, and violence from the police, the government, and society at large. But on the night of June 28, 1969, a group of LGBTQ+ people, including trans women of color, fought back against a police raid at the Stonewall Inn, a popular gay bar in Greenwich Village. This event sparked a series of protests and demonstrations, which eventually led to the first Pride March in 1970. Since then, Pride Month has become an annual celebration of LGBTQ+ rights, culture, and identity. But for many, this journey has been one of pain and struggle. Discrimination, harassment, and violence are still rampant, and many LGBTQ+ people face significant challenges in their daily lives. There are still many countries where being of certain sexual identities or orientations is illegal. In many parts of the world, LGBTQ+ people face discrimination in employment, housing, healthcare, and education. Even in more accepting societies, many LGBTQ+ people still face significant challenges. Bullying, harassment, and violence are still a daily reality for many. Trans people, in particular, face high rates of violence, discrimination, and marginalization. And for many, coming out as LGBTQ+ can be a difficult and painful process, often resulting in rejection from family and friends. So while we celebrate Pride Month and the progress that has been made, we must also remember that there is still much work to be done. We must continue to fight for equality, justice, and human rights for all LGBTQ+ people. We must continue to support and uplift one another, and to create spaces where everyone feels safe, seen, and heard. And above all, we must continue to celebrate and embrace the diverse and beautiful identities that make up the LGBTQ+ community. I wanted to speak about the importance of queer inclusion in sex education. Sex education, a topic that often sparks heated debates and raises lots of eyebrows, is an essential part of our journey toward a more inclusive and accepting society. Sex education could be a powerful tool that equips individuals with knowledge, understanding, and empathy, paving the way for healthier relationships both with oneself and others. However, for far too long, sex education has been a platform that has silenced the voices of the queer community, dismissing their experiences, and perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Sex education is not just about the mechanics of reproduction. It's not just about preventing pregnancies and preventing STIs. It is about discovering our identities, embracing our desires, and navigating the complex landscape of human relationships. By neglecting to include queer perspectives, we deny countless young people the knowledge they need to understand and accept their own sexual orientations and gender identities. We are failing them, and we are failing us. Imagine being a teenager, grappling with the feelings that don't align with what society deems normal. Imagine searching for the answers within the pages of a textbook, only to find silence. Imagine the crushing weight of isolation and confusion, your very existence invalidated, essentially erased. This is the reality faced by many queer individuals as they journey through adolescence. But it doesn't have to be this way. We have the power to change the narrative, to reshape the educational landscape into one that embraces diversity and celebrates the richness of the human experience. Including queer perspectives in sex education is not an option. It is a moral imperative, an act of compassion, and a step towards building a society that values every individual, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. By integrating queer voices into the curriculum, we create an environment that fosters understanding, empathy, and acceptance. We have an opportunity to teach our young people that love comes in all forms, and that it transcends societal boundaries and prejudices. We can better equip our youth with the tools to respect consent, navigate relationships with kindness and authenticity, and celebrate the beautiful tapestry of human diversity. We need to break down the walls of ignorance and prejudice and begin building bridges of knowledge and acceptance. I am a big advocate for comprehensive and inclusive sex education that reflects the realities of all individuals on this planet, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. By doing so, I believe we will create a future where queer youth can be proud of who they are and armed with the knowledge that they are valid and deserving of love and respect. Supporting LGBTQ+ youth is important to ensure that they feel safe, valued, and accepted. Here are some ways you can support them. 1. Educate yourself. Learn about identities and issues so you can better understand and support the young person in your life. You can read articles, watch documentaries, read books, or attend workshops. Or listen to podcasts. 2. Listen and show empathy. Create a safe and non-judgmental space for LGBTQ+ youth to share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Listen actively without interrupting or judging them. 3. Use inclusive language. Use gender-neutral language and avoid assumptions about their sexual orientation or gender identity. Respect their preferred pronouns and name. 4. Stand up against discrimination. Speak out against discrimination and prejudice when you see it happening. Show that you are an ally and support LGBTQ+ rights. 5. Advocate for LGBTQ+ rights. Support organizations that advocate for the LGBTQ+ rights and encourage others to do the same. Attend rallies, marches, and other events to show your support. 6. Offer resources. Provide information and resources that may be helpful for the young person, such as support groups, counseling services, or LGBTQ+ organizations. 7. Respect their privacy. Allow the young person to share their sexual orientation or gender identity on their own terms. Respect their privacy and avoid outing them without their consent. Remember that supporting LGBTQ+ youth is an ongoing process. It requires patience, understanding, and a commitment to creating an inclusive and accepting environment. If you haven't done so yet, give us a review or leave a rating. This helps Head South Radio grow. For more information about sexual health and relational wellness, be sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at headsouth.world. Join me next time as we continue to remove the stigma and shame around sex and strive for a world where every individual, regardless of their gender identity or sexual orientation, can live with the freedom to express their true selves. Special thanks to all of our guests. Head South is hosted by Kat Meyer, produced by Isis Barlow, edited by Megan Hook, with music by Lily Rezi Rothman, graphics by Ella Chodos Irvine, cover art by Gina Ship Casey, and intro by Murph Meyer.
If you're looking for me, I'm heading south. All year round I'm going down. Now you know where I'll be, I'm heading south. So come on, look me right in the mouth.